This should be played at high volume, preferably in a residential area.
It's the Dirty Laundry Game-Worn Hockey Podcast.
We're old school, right? We wash our own dirty laundry.
The name on the front is a hell of a lot more important than the one on the back.
I refuse to be judged by a grown man wearing a hockey jersey.
Game on!
Game on!
We are back with another episode of the Dirty Laundry Game-Worn Hockey Podcast, episode number 79. Had a lot of good feedback on 78. We went the farthest we've been and just really just an amazing show. Rory was so fun to talk to. God, I think we talked to him for what, another hour and a half after that one went?
Yeah. We talked for probably at least a half an hour before and probably another hour or so after. I mean, what a great guy. Shout out to Rory, really awesome guy to communicate with. And it was really fun to see how not only he connects to our hobby, but just, we talked off the air a little bit about his rugby collection and, some of the different stuff. And what an awesome guy and what a great collection. So thank you again, Rory, for being awesome.
And I got a great note too from Rory's friend Darren. He actually mentioned him, Rory did, in the podcast, not by name, but he's from Scotland, lives in Canada, and thought he has listened to some of our shows, really like some of the stuff that we cover. So I appreciate him reaching out. I apologize. I've been sick all week and still am, so I will get back to you in your email. So please have patience. Paul is at games tonight. Justin is tied up in some things. So just Wade and I, of course, we want to start as always with Drink Your Face Off, line of barware and clothing wear. So reach out to Mitch if you need any of that. My drink of choice this evening, you won't see this kind of mug very often. It's because it has hot tea in it. I've been sick since the weekend and officially Tuesday got tested and have the flu, and it's kicking my butt. I'm on 6 different meds, so alcohol is not advised with all the medications I'm on. So cheers to being sick and hot tea.
Well, get feeling better, Doc.
Yes,
you're a trooper for doing the show. I know you when we talked before, you said, hey, want people to get to continue to get our weekly show, and I know it's important to us, and I think we all try real hard to make sure we make this work for everybody.
We do, and sometimes it won't sound the best as other weeks, and because we all are dealing with work stuff or whatever, but we want to try and at least have a decent show and everybody have fun. And again, none of us take it serious. We really just have a good time. One of the other things I did get in this week, Wade's not even seen them yet. I did order us some stickers. So I'm going to find a ways to dole some of those out to people, either at expos, things like that. The upcoming one in St. Louis, I'll have some at. I'll find some ways to maybe do some giveaways and send some out. Yeah. So they are sharp. They're just cut around our logo. They look very nice. May try to get some other of those kind of things done, but found a deal online for some stickers. Just kind of wanted to see how they turn out. So was at least happy to get some of those.
Looks like I'm gonna try to get out to the Nova per usual, and if I do, maybe I'll try to take a handful of them out for us. And I always promote the show at my little area, and maybe hand out some stickers if anybody wants them out there.
That, and we'll get some nice 8x10s as well. Just a few. It's not going to be a long show tonight. There's just really a few things to touch on that I believe has popped up in the last 24 hours. It's not even been in the last week. But I do want to touch on a couple auctions first going on around our collecting community. The NHL at auctions.nhl.com. You have the 24-25 Buffalo Sabres Rob Ray Hall of Fame jerseys. They go for just 2 more days. So by the time we listen to this, really 1 more day, technically. Those are very nice, great looking. It's the goat head. They are as much as the team sucks. I really do. I really do like those jerseys. It's got the B Sabres with the saber through it on both shoulders. They're really sharp. If I wasn't waiting on the Blues auction coming this weekend, I would be all over one of these. The
And
prices,
that same. Oh, go ahead.
say the prices really aren't bad so far with 2 days to go. I mean, you've got the big names are up there, but there's still some in the $350 range. So
Yeah.
if you want one just for that look, you may be able to get in a ballpark without a whole lot. But I'll keep an eye on those prices. But they, like I said, they are out there. They close February the 8th at 9 p.m. Eastern time.
In the
Classic
same
auction.
breath.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, yeah. In the same breath, the Jacques Lemaire Ring of Honor jerseys are on. The Devils jerseys are on My Gray auctions, and I
Yes.
think those close on the 13th. Those things are really sharp too. It's the red jersey, which is a great looking jersey as well. I just want to throw that one out there too. In the same breath,
sure.
since they're both specialty jerseys.
Classic auctions is still going on. The highest bid on anything right now is Gordie Howe's jersey at $67,292.
I really hope you win that, Doc.
Right. Um, I'll have to sell it to pay for my divorce. Second highest right now being Patrick Waugh's inaugural season Avalanche jersey. And I'm a little surprised. And again, I know it's an older jersey in his line, but Ovechkin's 16-17 Caps jersey is his 544th gold jersey that's up there is only 11,120 as of and I haven't checked the updated stats, but earlier in the evening he was down to 19 to break the record.
Yeah. He's right there.
So that would be, I mean, even anyone owning any OV gold jersey, I guess, could be worth a decent amount of money because if it breaks the record. Nobody else, I think, will ever do it again. So I'll be curious what that ends up closing. This one was shared out of the Chicago Blackhawks game worn page. This was from Alexander Cherskin, who's the one that posted it. It says, during last night's game, Blackhawks announced they'll be auctioning off select jersey from the 23-24 regular season. The auction will last the next 2 weeks, and you can find them on the Chicago Blackhawks shop, which is cbhshop.com. They do have a bunch of buy it now stuff in their store as well, but their actual auction, you've got to go into the menu and find it. It's 14 days to go right now. Closes on Friday, February the 21st. And here's a note. We've discussed this in other auctions, and I'm glad that it's spelled out. I am impressed. They have laid all this out right at the top of their auction page. The auction will be open until Friday, February 21st at 11:59 a.m. So it closes basically at noon on Friday. Not at night. Please note that if a bid is placed during the final 5 minutes of the auction, the closing time will be extended an additional 5 minutes from the time of the most previous bid. To place a bid, customers have accounts with CBH Shop. Upon the win, you select shipping options could be selected at checkout. All authentic sales are final. Nothing. Yeah, a lot of people don't like the extended bidding. I at least appreciate the Blues when it's done. It's done. I know we've discussed this at length with many teams. With Paul, with San Jose, with the Avalanche. I know there's some other ones out there. These, I don't know if it's unclear because all of them are at 600. No, I take that back. A couple do have bids on them, but I think a lot of people are waiting. But they are the white jerseys. Let me just pull up one and see what the description says. This game-worn white jersey was worn by Taylor Radish during the 23-24 season. Was worn, and here's where I don't like it. I saw this complaint in the Blackhawks groups, and I agree completely. So let me read this first, and we'll get into it. The game-used white jersey was worn by Taylor Radish during the 23-24 season. The jersey was worn during multiple games. Has been photo matched to the preseason games on September 30th and October 1st. Regular season games on October 14th, December 14th, December 23rd. The jersey had an alternate captain patch during the preseason. Please note, while it's likely this jersey was worn in more games, we do not have full data to confirm every game that it was worn. Serial number, blah, 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 is authenticated with hologram sticker, that number.
Yeah.
I find that problematic, and so did a lot of the other Hawks collectors. Why? And again, I don't know if they're wearing multiple sets per set or how they designate their sets, but that sounds just messy as hell. They're basically going to Getty and yep, there's that mark or there's this mark. Okay, I found it in these, but these 3 games before, I don't either have a picture of him or that angle, so I can't tell you if he wore it in that game. For Christ's sake, track like the Blues and a bunch of other teams do, and scan them in and scan them out.
Yeah, the scan in, scan it out is fantastic. What the Blues do is great, and a lot of the other teams. It's kind of this is like I give them credit. I have to give them credit for the photo match part, which means they're actually listening to the hobby a little bit.
Yes,
but scan the damn thing. I mean, like it's just scan it, and that way you can track every game it's used, and you can do that kind of stuff. Like you said, it's a little messy. I'm happy for Blackhawks fans and collectors, although I hate their organization as a Blues fan. I'm glad that they're finally getting a chance to get some jerseys because I know it's been a long time coming for them. And the last, if this is the start of it, you got to expect that they're going to have a ton of jerseys over the next bit if they're going to clean out the coffers because they should have a ton of jerseys. So yeah, it's kind of good and bad. I think it's cool that they're taking the time. Like I love the fact that their photos. Like I was actually on the Taylor Hall one, but I love the fact that they've actually like taken pictures, like detailed pictures. They got some pictures of some wear on one of the sleeves. They got so like that part of it I really like. Rather than just having 1 or 2 generalized pictures of the jersey, they're putting a little effort into it and they're trying to photo match it. But yeah, like kind of generalized. Either you're gonna track them or you're not gonna track them. Make up your mind.
Like going, and they do have some buy it now ones, and they're just straight in their store side. Kevin Lankinen at $1,000. This game worn white jersey is worn by Kevin Lankinen during the 2020-2021 season. So this one's going back a bit.
Yeah.
Jersey was worn during the March 11th game, March 18th game, April 10th, April 12th, and April 15th games. Please note it likely was worn in more games. We don't have the data. So basically, they don't break it down as much as we photo match this because it's a goalie jersey. You're going to have a little easier time. But they just say this is
we're trying.
And it's interesting because on I hadn't looked at the details of this in the actual auction on this particular one is they have the set stamp and it says Chicago Blackhawks 2021 NHL COVID season, serial number 2021-1120, Tony Parchment, equipment manager. And next to and actually I'm going to just share this because it's cracking me up. And I, again, not a political thing, whatever, just funny, the creativity that actually somebody decided to do this with. Let me do this. Look at what they put in next to the where it says COVID season. They put a little mask. I love that. They actually put a little COVID mask with the Blackhawks logo on it. Again, it's people probably go bitch. I can't believe you even brought it up. I don't care. It's funny and it's a creative thing because that's the screwy season time. And I think that's a cool little piece. I don't think I've seen any team do that. So good.
So Columbus used to put some like odd pictures on their set tags.
Yes, that's creativity right there.
Yeah, they put some weird stuff on there. But I do love the COVID mask is pretty fantastic. Shout out to the Blackhawks.
They got several from that year.
Yeah. Glad they have a sense of humor on it.
Yeah.
So here on the one, I'm looking at the Taylor Hall, which has the Rocky patch on it, and the set tag actually is pretty cool. It's got the Rocky on it. So that's pretty neat. I get a kick out of the fact that like really old school style, like in the collar, there's like they hand wrote in the set tag, which I think is great. Like they wrote in 23-24-1, which I think is, really, really old school.
Mm-hmm.
But like good for them for putting together a program and trying to get their stuff out to their fans and their collectors.
And I know too, any of the wonderful Hawks, as much as we batch the Hawks team, the Hawks collectors know we support them and know their pain with with how they're doing their stuff. So if you guys get other info or news on the auction or the buy it now stuff and on your thoughts, feel free to kick them my way. Even if you're pissed at how we presented it, because I'm glad to see some of that stuff coming out there, but it is interesting that they're not doing a better job tracking that. And as much as we even complain, on the Blues having that little, we complained when they first showed up because they'd fall off easily, but it's gotten better, is those little scan tags in the neck.
Yeah.
It's great because we know what they're using those for. And when we get the jerseys delivered to us, we have the nice sheet that said every game they played. And then
their stickers still fall off.
Well, right. But
I actually just found one the other day. I was like walking in my room and like I looked and I go, oh, there's a sticker. And so like I picked it up and I just moved some stuff, so I had a pretty good idea where it came from, and I was able to figure it out. And
but
just
at least you can match it to the sheet too. The game scan, I know who it is. But that
just so everybody knows, when that happens, if anybody wonders, I take the sticker off the jersey a lot of times, and I just stick the second sticker right on the letter. Just because once it falls off, it's not going back on there, and I'm not gluing it on there. So
at least the hologram sticker's usually there.
Yeah.
But
I kind of who cares about the hologram stickers?
Yeah, but with getting that game listing, it's so nice to then go and look at stats or go to Getty and let me look at this game. Oh, great, that's a fantastic photo. Whatever. Yeah. It's not that hard.
No,
and you have a team to
the
go.
Problem is you gotta have somebody. Yeah, the problem is you got to have somebody willing to stand there and scan them all in and out. But at the end of the day, it is really, really good for the authenticity part of it and for collecting.
I mean, and I know a lot of people do enjoy going, look, oh, great. Yep, I've been able to now prove he wore this in 16 games. The Blackhawks told me 6. Yeah. I matched it to 10 more. Great. But how about you document it up front instead of guessing? Sure. I mean, you're not guessing because you are photo matching it, but it just seems a very messy and convoluted thing because instead, if you're tagging the necks and tracking every game, and if Taylor Radish or whoever does something big in a game and they just happen to miss those photos and say, well, we're not sure if he wore it in that game.
That sucks.
You may not bring the money if you can say, oh, in the 6th of the 8th games he wore this in, he got a hat trick, he got whatever. Getting those things documented up front.
That's huge.
Especially for people that are at those games. Oh, I'd love to have his hat trick or this, that, or whatever. Yeah. And I know some people tell me, oh, if they do, those don't really raise the value. They do. I believe they do to a point with certain players or big events.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But I'll have to keep an eye on those, see where the Hawks ones show up. And if you had noticed, we did not mention the big name in that list of jerseys being auctioned. There is no Bedard in there. So just to be clear on that. Then the other info that dropped today, because everybody's excited to be watching this very soon, the Four Nations. The Four Nations Sweden jersey information was put out today in the Game Worn group. And while the prices are very high, I am not shocked in the least for any number of reasons. And some people made the same point that I was thinking of. This isn't like an NHL team. These are the top dogs on one team.
I'm going to throw this out there for you. We just got done with the Winter Classic jerseys. And if you really think about it, those were one period jerseys, NHL game of kind of anybody. And what the cheapest game worn ones that sold on NHL auctions were $1,400 to $1,600, give or take.
Yeah.
That's for a third or fourth line NHL player, right? So I'm looking at this list, and Adrian Kempe, for $24.99. I get it's a 1-game jersey. I don't even think they're full game.
It's not. It's 2 of the 3 periods on the Wednesday game.
But at the end of the day, I mean, here $2,400 for a guy who is an international, a star player. I guess when you look at Nylander for $6,000, I think I look at it and I think what the Binnington sold for in that auction, or the Fowler who had a big night, or like different stuff like that. They're not terribly crazy. They're high, but I mean, here, and as we said off camera, and I'll say it on camera, at the end of the day, everybody knows Fanatics will end up negotiating prices on the ones that don't sell. So if you're patient and the guy you want doesn't sell, at some point you'll be able to talk to your rep and get a better price.
And at the time I got the list today, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 had already sold.
And here I'm going to say
this: at $5,000, Raymond at $5,000, Carlson at $4,500, Forsling at $2,500, although already out the door.
So somebody obviously didn't feel like the prices were too damn crazy, right? I mean, like, let's be honest. If that many is already sold in day one, people don't hate the prices. And
I guess
if that was,
I guess too, that asks the question is, once we see the other teams, are they right in line with this, or do you see some big jumps into could be close to $8,000-$10,000 range?
I think you see $8,000 to $10,000 on your Team Canada superstar guys. I think you see $8,000 to $10,000 on your world elite guys. I mean, here I think,
am I even low at that?
I think you're low, and that's what I was just about to say. I mean, what's a Connor McDavid going to be? That's 25, 30, 40. I mean, at the end of the day, what's somebody going to be willing to pay for it?
The big question is how many those prices come out.
Sure, and how many are they going to wear, and then how many sets of these are going to pop up? That also becomes a question. I went back in my brain when we talked about this earlier, and I thought about the last time they did like the North America jerseys and all the different ones, the last international thing they did. And I remember seeing some of those. I remember a Colton Parayko popping up around Blues groups, for I think it was like around 1,500, like less than $2,000 kind of thing. So, I mean, they'll be able to be had. But the funny part is those things dried up. I mean, you can't find any of those from the last international thing. So, obviously, somebody collected them, kept them, or they're all still sitting in boxes at Fanatics.
And I mean, a lot of people were blown away at the pricing. And again, these are the top dogs of the country playing, and some people may not consider all of these NHL superstars, even though they're in NHL teams. And others were saying, well, if we just don't buy them, the prices will come down.
No. Here's the problem.
We said that with the stuff in Boston. We thought they were overpriced, and Jesus, they don't last 5 minutes on their site.
Here's the other thing you got to think about with this. There's somebody in those countries, there's somebody over there who wants that jersey, you're not just bidding against domestic, United States and Canada collectors. Not that you always aren't any other time, but in something like this, we start talking about international and national pride. People over there might be dreaming for one of these jerseys. So that $5,000 is something they've saved up for. And, I don't know. We talk about price shaming all the time in the hobby. We talk about, people trying to justify a price. At the end of the day, it always comes down to what somebody's willing to pay for something, right? And when that list came out, as much as some people said it was too high, and as much as we may not agree with all the pricing, they sold. Some of them sold, and probably more of them was sold since we marked off the list. So
right.
That kind of tells the story for me.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see where these go. I'm interested in watching the games for sure. I know I'm already priced out of every jersey that'll be listed or worn, which is I didn't expect to even have a chance. And again, it is a special event thing, but like I think these will be this and the world hockey stuff, I think, has more interest anymore than you see the pricing of the NHL All-Star jerseys. Those, I think, have really fallen off. Those used to go for just a crap ton of money. But I think really with how they've changed how that works and stuff, the interest just isn't there.
People are less vested in the All-Star stuff.
Yes.
It really doesn't connect the same way. Like the jersey, like I mean, I hate to say it, but they've really kind of shit the bed on some of the latest designs by doing some stuff that just really doesn't play out very well as far as for traditional hockey jersey collectors. They're trying to get those to be something different, and it kind of hasn't worked, I don't think. I think if they went back to some of those old late 80s, early 90s style jerseys, I think they'd see a remarkable increase in people's interest. I just in my brain keep thinking about that ugly Toronto jersey they had a couple years ago. It was terrible, hard to think that people are that interested in them. And plus, like, they're not easy to get. And I don't know. I'll grab an All-Star jersey for the right price, but in the same sense, it's not something that like is a must-have.
Yeah, when they come to market secondary, unless it's just somebody huge, you can pick them up so cheap, especially when they're doing they're making them for each color if that's the multi-team stuff. It's like, if I get one, okay, he didn't wear that color, but it's still one of the
photo shoehorn or the more. There's all kinds of different ones. I know that I paid a boatload of money for the year it was in St. Louis for the Blues players. So we had like 4 players that year, and they only played one like on ice set and they lost. So there was only one set, and I guess the players kept those. So the only ones that ever became available was issued ones. And I remember I wanted one because I wanted one from that All-Star in St. Louis, the game I was at. And I paid a boatload of money for an issued jersey. And I love having it, and it's a gorgeous jersey. I think it's fantastic. But in the same sense, I also know that I absolutely threw money away buying it.
Well, but again, none of us like overpaying for stuff, but when it's most likely going to be a one-shot deal, there weren't a lot available. It's also, again, if it was an All-Star game in another city, you wouldn't have the being invested like you were.
And that was why I was willing to overpay for it, because I knew it had the blue note on it from the Blues Winter Classic, or not Blues All-Star game. I was there. It was something that I didn't buy it as a turnover piece. It's something that I plan on keeping for as long as I collect.
We've all done it for things like it'll be interesting to see as these other teams come out, or as we get the other pricing from other teams. We will definitely pass that along. And I know in the groups, the discussion will be so much fun.
And we know how much Paul loves Fanatics, so I can't wait to hear Paul's.
Right. I wish he's probably going to kick our butts to having this discussion tonight, but it needed to be had now because it came out today. And trust me, we have 3 more times to do it on, so we may be able to combine some as the pricing for the other teams come out, which I wouldn't think would be very long, but I just because the games are just around the corner. But I'm curious who else gets what sets of those. And if anybody else has that information, because I at least wasn't able to dig it up. And of course, like I said, my brain's fried with medicine, so I haven't dug as deep as I normally do on things. But if somebody has that, feel free to pass it along.
As far as we've all heard, Fanatics is getting all of them. So I mean, at some point, how many are they going to have?
But I don't know if the country gets to keep a set and does something with it. I don't know how many total flipping jerseys they're wearing. So
if they're wearing 2 a game, I mean, like if you just hear that, I mean, each team is playing what, 3 games minimum.
But like if the ones at Fanatics listed are only 2 periods, so not even a full game. What's the other period being worn? Is it a 1 period jersey that somebody's getting, or are they wearing it in another game somehow?
Yeah, it's going to be. I mean,
that seems convoluted.
Is it a warm up first period and then second period, third period? I mean, so they're wearing 2 sets a game and then they're playing 3 or 4 games. So that gets you to like 6 or 8 sets of jerseys. Is Fanatics getting all those? Because if they have 6, of one guy or 8 of one guy, at some point that's a lot of jerseys to try to sell.
Yeah.
Right.
And then that tanks the price if they become available. So
down the road, you'd assume.
And if somebody has more of the breakdown or insider information, please feel free to reach out, or
Yeah,
if I
sure.
just missed it, point it to my direction. Like I said, trying to navigate it with all this stuff does make it more difficult. That's all I have tonight. Anything else you wanted to touch on?
I guess this week I'm really excited. The Springfield Thunderbirds is our Blues AHL affiliate, and they are wearing their Simpsons Night, the Isotopes jersey. So I've been pretty vested in my discussions of those and my opinion on what they're going to be. So I'm excited for that this week. I am excited for the Blues auction coming up. I'm really excited to watch the Four Nations. I think that's one of the things, just as a hockey fan. I was actually sitting at home the other night, and like family member came by, my sister came by, and I was just watching like a random hockey game, and she's like, "Do you ever not watch hockey?" And I said, "No, like if it's on, I'm pretty much watching it." And this Four Nations thing I think is going to be a lot of fun. I think we just kind of hit on the fact I've been really turned off with the All-Star game dynamic, so like I never even look forward to it anymore like I did when I was a kid. So I'm excited to see hockey rather than the All-Star game, I guess. See real hockey games and then see the best players in the world. I guess the other thing I wanted to bring up was, Ovi's now getting really close to Gretzky as far as the goal total. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Ovi equipment and jersey market does over the next, year or two when he takes that over. He's already obviously a pretty hot commodity, but he is a guy that has worn a lot of jerseys over the years. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with those coming out of Migray over the next, year or two. And then to kind of see where the dust settles on values on those. I'm very interested in that as a collector. Not that I'm a player in them, but I am interested in that.
And I was wrong in my number. I said 19 earlier. It's 16.
Gotcha. So, So I mean, it'll be interesting to see how that falls. Besides that, again, I'm really enjoy hearing from people about our show. That's the one thing that I really enjoy is having people talk to me or message me or you, and then us talking about it, or Paul or Justin. People's involvement and interest in it is great. Again, I think we always are asking for guests, so I don't want to be like, oh, come on. But if you have topics, even if you don't want to come on, help fill up an hour. Give us some stuff to talk about, or come on, but
then you don't have to just hear us ramble.
Yeah, I do. I guess I just want to take a minute to thank everybody that listens and follows what we do. We try to not make it just about what we like, but what about everybody likes. And, just thanks for being supportive of us.
And one thing I want to say on Darren's letter that I mentioned earlier, he's the friend of Rory that really appreciated we had him on. And one of the things I always say is, look, if you want to reach out and tell us what you like or don't like, don't think we're going to get pissed at you, say, well, I didn't like this because, unless you just act like a total jackass.
No.
But Darren said something that I thought was really nice. This is, I sometimes listen to podcasts, but to be honest, it's not always in my wheelhouse. The content's always great, and I've learned a lot from various episodes, but I rarely focus on newer jerseys or NHL. Fantastic. Yeah. I love that because this show or the individual episodes may not always be what is your focus or what's your interest. I hope you listen to all of them just because, but I love that you were honest and said, hey, some of this, I like it, but some of it just isn't for me. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love people telling me exactly why they listen, or, hey, I listen to these episodes because I follow this. The other stuff wasn't much. Okay. But you've listened to one, and that means a ton. So thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, I get a lot of feedback, There's, Dan and Matt are both, great collectors, and they've been on the show both a bunch of times, and they're always giving me really great feedback on just different topics or different things we should talk about, or maybe getting a little bit more, edgy with some discussions. And, I love that. I got my buddy Brandon, who is not a collector at all, who listens to the show every week and looks forward to it and is always kind of talking about the different topics and what have you. So, and then just like we talked about, just the random amount of people that will message us and have heard the show or like the show, and or even don't like the show but still listen. So I appreciate all of you.
That's how It's how Howard Stern got big, is enough people turned up and hated him too. We do need to work. We promise we're working with our makeup department. We do need to tone the shine down on Wade's head just a little bit. I promise you we're getting there.
Yeah, we're working on some
We're
lighting.
constantly going to make improvements. I'm about to rotate out some of the jerseys behind me.
Yeah.
But again, we're always looking to improve or make things better. So don't ever be afraid to reach out to all of us, one of us, however you want to do it. I don't care. We do this because it's fun. We want to continue to make the hobby better and just really help people. And again, we beat this stuff to death, but I just have to. As a number of people that have said, "Yeah, I didn't know to watch out for that," or one of the ones, and I think I maybe mentioned it before, is somebody looking at collecting or starting to buy stuff. Yeah, I decided to buy a white. You were right. It did show better wear.
Yeah.
But it's sometimes people don't think, oh, I got to get a home jersey. Well, look at all the things. I mean, if you want one, that's great. And the home jerseys are nice, but the white ones a lot of times show wear better. So just saying, if you want one to, and seeing some of the pictures of the Blues and the other teams with some of their stuff, the wear's looking pretty decent.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm excited to get our hands on this set one from the Blues.
Yes.
They stayed in a lot longer than they normally do. And shout out to Nick for kind of posting some pictures of it.
Yeah,
if anybody's out there listening, don't bid on jerseys because the Blues are not very good this year, and you just want to stay away. It's
right.
Just please stay away.
And I will say though, looking through some of the pictures, I mean, there's wear on some and the repairs that it actually rearranged a number. They had to do so much showing the number no longer lines up. So
I'm excited to see. I'm excited to get my hands on a Fanatics jersey, not just like a 1 game or a 2 game jersey, but like a full set used jersey, and see how they held up, and see what the material looks like now. And excited for that. Really excited for that in the next couple of weeks. So hopefully. Sooner than later, we'll be able to present, if we win one or if we're lucky enough to be the high bidder, we'll be able to present some of our findings on that from actual hands-on experience.
And if you've gotten, I know we talked a little while back on the person who posted the Kraken one, the white, sent me some pictures of wearing that. So if you've gotten your team's Fanatic set ones that if they out there, let us know what kind of wear you're seeing, any surprise repairs, things like that, especially in the lower arms with all that double reinforcement. I'm just curious to hear more on that. But I think we've rambled on enough this evening. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. Again, as always, like, subscribe, comment, do all those things. Definitely help us out. Like I said, I've got may sort out some things with some stickers. We'll get them out to expos and some other places. We will be back with you again next week. So thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.